Viewers, welcome to AB's Real Time Talk Show English from New Jersey, United States of America. And this is SINHA I'm SAYEED, anchoring the very talk show. Viewers, regular talk show in English on online is very rare. And in this regard, ABC is taking initiative to start this. And we are very happy to know that this is the first time in the history of online domains, Bengali domains, that a talk show is going to take place in English. Well, our today's issues are geopolitics and Bangladesh, today's Bangladesh. And here we have invited few special guests from different countries on the planet. First of all, let me introduce them all. Here is Rita Rahman from New York, USA. He is a senior journalist, political analyst. Mr. Professor Farhat Hussain from Bangladesh. He is a political analyst and a Awami leader. Next is Mr. Joglul Haidar Chowdhury. Professor Joglul Haidar Chowdhury. He is a political scientist and geopolitical analyst. And Mr. Dr. A. Muhammad Amin Khan. He is from Australia, political analyst, and Mr. Polar Chowdhury, a media personality at the same time is a political analyst. And today our discussion shall be on, on politics and geopolitics in Bangladesh. And first of all, my question to Professor Joglul Ahmed Chowdhury. What is your understanding about the recent politics in Bangladesh, which seems to be very complicated and very difficult to be settled in this very moment? What is your understanding, please?
Well, beloved moderator, public speaker, Dr. SINHA SAYEED, learned journalist, viewers from my sweet home, Bangladesh, and all over the world. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon from my end. Well, the question is about the ongoing political situation of Bangladesh. We all are aware of the situation more or less, but specifically when you ask me this question, I have to answer this question definitely to you in my own angle, and other panelists might love it or may not. That's why before starting, I want to let everybody know this is my perception. Whatever I'm saying, you don't have to accept it, but this is an analysis. You have to take it just as an analysis. Thing is that you know that the situation of Bangladesh. If you look at the political situation of Bangladesh, we have to see where does Bangladesh stand. If you look at the structure and function of the Bangladesh government, if you look at the structure of the government, you see executive, legislature, and judiciary. These three things are basic structure of the government. The executive, I have no doubt, this is totally political. Legislature, they are political too. And judiciary, how political our judiciary is, I'll just let you know. I'll just ask you. I'll just tell you one thing. That is, recently, one judge of the highest court of Bangladesh, he defined the judiciary like we are oath-bound politicians. So this is what is going on in Bangladesh. You can easily imagine now the situation of Bangladesh. So if you look at the executive again, this executive, political executive is fine. They are doing their political business. If you look at the bureaucracy, what's going on there? The whole bureaucracy is politicized. Bureaucrats are talking like politicians. If you look at the police forces, the police superintendents or police IGs, they are talking about politicians at the from the local level to the central level. So, and judiciary. Now, you know, today just I heard from a politician from Bangladesh. He said, nobody, in this situation right now, in this milieu, nobody can expect justice from the judicial system of Bangladesh. So this is what is going on there. So what is the reason? What is the reason behind this? I have to analyze this thing. The reason is that right now what Bangladesh is facing is a severe political crisis. That crisis is participation crisis. This participation crisis is not necessarily has arisen from election. You know, in the last, if you look at the elections, obviously one major factor in the last couple of elections, if you look at 2014 and 2018 elections, nobody could go to vote and nobody could elect their representative. As a result, what happened, you know, Bangladesh is seriously lacking representative democracy. The representatives, what we have in the parliament, they do not have any mandate. They are not endorsed by the people. So in the last 2018 election, you know, it is called quote unquote a midnight election. Daytime there was no election. The people branded it as a midnight election. And not only I will not blame the politicians only. Even international donors, they are talking about these things. Our international friends, they are saying that that election was not, that 2018 and 2014 elections are flawed elections. Right now, I'm writing a piece on status of democracy in Bangladesh, flawed election, rigged election, and no election. When my article will come up, I believe that I will be able to give a detailed analysis on this issue. So this is what is going on. What is the solution? This is what is the scenario of Bangladesh. So executive, legislature, and the whole structure of the government is not functioning, or the way is functioning, the way government is portraying the situation. This is nothing but an idiosyncratic analysis. I believe that this is an idiosyncratic analysis. The way they think, same way they present the situation to the people. So this is not at all acceptable. Right now, you know, Bangladesh is in tension. Opposition political parties, most of the time they are restricted. They could not, you know, they express their opinion freely and recently after the imposition of US sanction on, I will say, on Bangladesh, not on the RAB only, because RAB carries the flag of Bangladesh. So this sanction is not on the RAB only. This sanction is sanction on Bangladesh, because this law enforcing agency, they carry the national flag of Bangladesh. So I will say this is a sanction on Bangladesh. After sanctioning, we found a lot of things has come to the reach of the opposition. That is, right now they are on the ground. They are just expressing their opinion. They are protesting peacefully. I will say peacefully protesting against the unlawful activities of the government, and they are talking about free and fair election, inclusive election. They're talking about participatory election, and they're demanding, and participatory election is only possible, in their view, is under a non-partisan caretaker government. Actually, this was a settled issue in our constitution, and when this government came to power, through this way, under the caretaker government, they made it unsettled. They made the settled matter unsettled. That's why I'm so sorry that again, right now, people are on the street. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but rest of the other than government, rest of the nation, they believe that a peaceful, fair, participatory, and exclusive election can held under a non-partisan caretaker government, because otherwise this participation crisis will widen, and this participation crisis will not stay there. It will create again legitimacy crisis, from participation crisis to legitimacy crisis, from legitimacy crisis to severe uncertainty, or what we'll call, there is widen between the elites and masses, ruling elites and masses. So this widened gap between elites and masses at the particle level will cause disintegration problem in the country in the long run. So this is the reason right now what we need to have a participatory election under Qatar government or election time government or neutral government or any other third party. Because you know that.
Well, Mr. Jogdul Chaudhary, thank you very much. We'll come again. Dr. Amin, you are from Australia. You have been there for a long time and almost very much detached from Bangladesh. Being away from Bangladesh, what is your understanding? What Mr. Jogdul Haidar said?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Yeah.
Mr. Amin.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry.
Do you hear me, Mr. Amin?
Yeah, because my connection was a bit lost there. If you could.
We are not listening to you. Please speak loudly.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So,
yes,
sorry,
yes,
sir. Internet was a bit troubled that time. If you could repeat the question. Yeah, if you could repeat the question for me, that would be great help, sir.
We are talking to
if
Professor
you can repeat the question, sir.
Chaudhary. We are talking to Professor Chaudhary, and he mentioned so many things in his speech and categorically emphasized on formation of Qatar government before the polls. And what is your understanding about the whole thing taking place in Bangladesh?
Yep. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, sir, to join with great people like you, Farhad sir, and Palash Chaudhary, and Dr. Jogdul Haidar sir. And from my small understanding, as I said, same as Dr. Jogdul Haidar sir, what he said was, it's totally my own perception and my personal understanding as far as I understand, as Jogdul sir mentioned, that in 2014 and 2018, as we mentioned, we call it a midnight election, then we call it fraud election. And the question was how to solve it and how we can, if it was a midnight election, if it was a fraud election, please don't quote me that I do think the same, but if it was, what is the solution there? And that is the main problem here, that we're saying that the voting rights of the people of Bangladesh is not currently as it meant to be in a democratic government, under a democratic government. And I see the problem there is half is pretty much solved. Now one of the biggest opposition party, BNP, is currently striking for the resignation of the current Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So I would say that the target, the strike is really, really strong, getting stronger as we speak. But the target could be wrong, from my opinion. As from my point of view, Bangladesh Awami League would never let the current Prime Minister to resign from her position. I would say it's a do or die position. So either the leader of the opposition, either they don't understand that demand is not going to get fulfilled, from my understanding. So if they don't understand that that demand will not get fulfilled, that's fine. But they should understand that if that demand is not getting fulfilled, and we know that, what are we fighting for? That's one question. And rather than asking for resignation from the Prime Minister, we should be looking into some different solutions. As I would say, instead of asking for resignation, I would ask for monitoring the voting systems. I would ask for live monitoring. I would ask for the international observer to go for live monitoring of the whole voting system. I would ask for random voting audit in the same election day. So In the same time, going in our countries, say from US, starting from US, the European Unions, United Kingdom, everyone's sending the delegates, and they've been saying lots of things. They've been saying lots of things, but they never actually say that our constitution does not allow a caretaker government, and they never mention that thing. And that's where my concern is. Say, I think, and there's another important word I want to mention, which is our election is our internal matter. And I totally do not agree with that. That election in Bangladesh should be an internal matter because we have dealings with the international countries. We have business with them. So US has business connection with Bangladesh, and so is European Union, so is United Kingdom, so is India. So everybody has their own interest about what is happening in our country, what is happening in Bangladesh, and what is the future of Bangladesh. So it is not totally an internal matter. The election and the future of the people of Bangladesh and the business environment of Bangladesh is very much matter of interest from the Western world, from India, from China, and everyone, because everyone is connected with the, if we take the world as an international marketplace, they are doing business in our country and they have future plan connecting to our country. If the country isn't what they want the environment to be, they have to think differently. They want there should be peace, there should be law and enforcement to be there so they can do their own business. So we can't just say, oh, this is our internal matter, we're going to hold it ourselves, or we're going to do what needs to be done. But we need to, if we want to be in the marketplace in the world, if we want to expand internationally, we need to negotiate with the international delegates. We cannot just ignore them. In saying they will give their suggestions, but they cannot do the election for us, and they cannot force us to do it at the same time. What I understand from past 6 to 8 weeks, this whoever the delegates are coming, they keep going round and round. They're not saying the punch word. They're not saying the punchline. If we say, then never say anything about caretaker government, which they never said anything about resignation of our current prime minister, which is our demand from the opposition. Biggest opposition, as I count, only one opposition is Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP. So what I see the results going, this is just time consuming. They're just going round and round. No concrete results are coming out from there. And if I'm pretty sure that we have lots of honorable and knowledgeable leaders from BNP who actually should rethink the whole scenario. Saying that if we are watching what's happening in Dhaka 17 election, and before that what is happening, and including that we can protest on the road nowadays. In last 3-4 months, we can see people can speak. We can see lots of things changed. Is it really changed, or government just pretending that it's changed? So my understanding would be asking for resignation from Prime Minister. It is not a solution. It is a dead end. And if the opposition is hanging on to it, the result's going to be 2014. The result's going to be like 2018. If anybody thinks that after 2023 or 2024 January election happens and the election, one of the biggest opposition, whoever it is, doesn't come to the election is going to turn over. I do not agree with that. If the election happens, which is going to happen on correct time, because the round playing games from Western world is not going to last, and there is no punchline they're asking for. They're just showing we are concerned, but where is the punchline? I don't really get the point that if obviously honorable some of fellow speaker, you staying in Canada and US, all I know is they're not like us. We are Bangladeshis. We want to go round because I want to convince them. But these people, they want, I want that. I want 1, 2, 3 done, right? They will be to the point, very specific. They will not go round. In this scenario, they are not saying the punchline or the word. So all I understand is if that election happens, which will happen, and if we are dreaming that the election going to turn around because there are not going to be enough people voting, that's a dream from my understanding. So I think that our opposition...
Thank you, Dr. Amin. Thank you very much for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for your speech and your understanding about Bangladesh.
Thank you.
Mr. Palash Choudhury, Dr. Amin believes still we are lacking the password. And that password is nobody's talking about any foreigners, European Union, America, even India, whoever is there. They're not talking about the Carter government or the resignation of the Sheikh Hasina from the power. And how do you analyze the thing which Dr. Amin understood? Mr. Palash Choudhury.
Thank you very much. Hear me, everybody?
Yeah, you go.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. You
hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
thank you very much for your kind invitation for this show. Yes, I heard Mr. Amin explain he tried to say he don't accept any other other side, any interfere in our Bangladesh election or anything. It is everybody, I believe, we are all of here, everybody, we want our solution. We try to solve our own self. It's true, but reality is the different. Reality is not the right track. Right now, our next election, upcoming election in end of the December or January 2024. Next election is very challenging for us, for our nation, because right now we are very critical position in the geopolitical environment and domestic politics. Also, geopolitics, we are already under pressure for the geopolitics in the regions. So, I defer to Mr. Amin. Right now, if European Union and the United Nations and United States, they are not too much very hard any pressure to give any pressure. It's not pressure. They I like, but I taken their message. This one kinds of they are there's some messaging. This is not pressure. Their desire, their dream. They mentioned their dream. What is dream? Dream is they all are wants. Bangladesh need the free, fair, credible, and inclusive election. It is not interfere. Because why not? Because I believe it's not means interfere. Because of most of 95% Bangladeshi people wants like this same thing, same voice with our friend countries like European Union or the United States, everything. So I don't agree with him because it is not pressure. Pressure is the different issues, different thing. They are not give us that our threat. Give us not any threat, any threatening, nothing to say. They, yes, it's true. They have taken some actions against our elite force or our visa policy, individual visa policy for Bangladesh. It's true, but it's not for only our election, free, fair, credible election. Not like that, because they mentioned in the human violence and enforcement, DGFR, many things that involve this sanction. So I want to separate two things. Free, fair, and credible election is the on the one hand, and the other hand is our human ground. So last minimum 12 years, slowly, too much deteriorate our human rights and human activities, anything in the deteriorate day by day. That's why United States taken some action or some steps against us. But I don't understand one thing. Why our military is the very worries about the when they say their voice, when our friend countries raise their voice for free, fair, credible, and inclusive election. Why they are afraid? I don't understand. Why they thinking this is the interfere? Internal affairs interfere. Why they think that? It is my question. Because it is not only their wants, it's also our nation, whole nation wants. This is not only nationalist, Bangladesh nationalist partist wants. We are agree. I want to say, all near about 50 parties, small and bigger, all are agreed to the free fair election for the neutral, under the neutral government or the electoral government under the manage our election process, due process. So because now question is the government try to say this is the out of our constitution. So how can remove? Everybody knows it is the monopoly, the delete or remove or amendment or we say anything. They do the ruling party do their alone decision. This is the authoritarian activities. The one steps, one day, one night, one times within 5 minutes. They removed our settled matter last 1996. This is the settled matter. They will dissolve. So that is the questions. So they try to say, our government try to say it is not allowed our constitution. It's not true.
Well,
before
Mr.
1996,
before 1996, we will come to again because you raised so many questions here. Well,
yeah.
Rita Rahman from New York, America. You were living in America for a long time, and you are a pattern journalist, political analyst, at the same time carrying the legacy of political family. And everybody knows that your daughter, late Mushir Rahman. So, whatever you say, people have perception. What Rita Rahman says, that has a significance, that has a quality of saying. Well, and from this point of view, you listen to all of these pieces. And what is your analysis about the Bangladesh? That is very important.
Thank you very much. Salam alaikum to everyone. Sorry. Okay, let me put that off. Yes, I'm sorry. I was having some technical difficulties in connecting and going through the lines. Some of the questions raised here is very valid, and of course, they are the contemporary issues of our political going ons. The situation in Bangladesh is unique at this point, I must say. I'm sure that most of our colleagues present here will agree with me. It is a unique situation because suddenly the world is focusing on Bangladesh. Why? It is a very common question. We keep on asking why, particularly the activities or whatever. I mean, how should we put it? The actions or the importance that is being given to Bangladesh at this point. It is unique because it never happened, even during 1971. So much attention was not given, I suppose. I may be wrong if we compare 71 to today's circumstances in Bangladesh, political circumstances. But we can draw a line from there. But what is going on? People are talking about democracy in Bangladesh. Why is it being talked so much? These are the common questions. It is being asked because there are in terms of democracy, something happened. I would say, I don't know whether I'll be acceptable by most of our present colleagues here. I think that because what happened, we are actually going through circumstances which are beyond our control. What I mean by saying that is that was a policy.
We are not listening to you. Nothing coming.
The sound, yeah.
Yeah, your sound is low. I think it is better to talk to Professor Farah to say. You listen to everybody, and since we know very well that you belong to Awami League and having a very precious position there, whenever you speak, everybody knows very well that you speak not from the standpoint of party, but stand from the national atmosphere, national attitude, and national culture. And everybody knows that you are a man of sophistication, politically, culturally, and personally. Taking all this together, what is your understanding? What the other colleagues, what the other guest speakers, they told, they spoke, and what is your reaction? Please, Mr. Farhat.
Thank you. SINHA, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to tell something about you. And SINHA is a person who has taken the initiative to open English talk show. And he had a mind for a long time exactly to send our voice across the border. And I think that he has been successful about this matter. I'd like to give you a congratulation for this. And you are the iconic figure, particularly of taking this initiative exactly to make the English talk show popular in our country and across the border. Thank you very much. And I'd like to tell one thing, that yes, political stagnancy is being created in different stages of Bangladesh, but it has got a particular root. The root, I'd like to say that after only 3.5 years, our father of the nation, who exactly created this country, had been killed brutally with his family members and his kin and kin. And that was the stagnancy created, particularly in the smooth running of the politics in Bangladesh. And second one in 2004, 21st August, a massive grenade attack, which was exactly this attack was provoking to eliminate Awami League, the political party under which banner, under which leadership Bangladesh had been emerged as an independent country. These two particular tragic incidents created a certain kind of impediment, intervention on the way of a smooth politics in Bangladesh. It is true, in fact, we cannot deny it. Now, the government, as far I know, is quite determined exactly to conduct or to see a free and fair election. That is true, in fact, but the government is not prepared to change the constitution to endorse a kind of government, caretaker or interim government in nature to conduct the election. The government is committed and determined to see the election under the partisan government. And you know that there is an election commission which is totally independent and totally out from any sort of influence, political influence. So I also fervently believe that the present election commission is totally committed and capable enough to conduct a free, fair election in Bangladesh. Now, Professor Dr. Joglul Haidar told that one of the judges told that they are the oath-bound judicial figure. The thing is that is wrong. If he is feeling so, why don't he resign? He's not resigning, but why does he making this sort of comment, discriminating comment to create a certain kind of replication, particularly in the field of judiciary? That is my question. And Awami League, yes, Mr. Palas Chaudhry told my friend Palas Chaudhry, Awami League is afraid. Awami League is not afraid at all. Awami League is a courageous political organization, faced the obstacles, challenges, and Awami League faced the challenge of Pakistan Army, occupying army in 1971, faced the challenge of Pakistani oligarchy, military oligarchy, civil oligarchy, bureaucratic oligarchy, and our father of the nation, who was the leader of Awami League, who was the president of Awami League during the time, faced any political challenge coming from Pakistani period, particularly from Punjabi oligarchy, military oligarchy, etc., etc. Awami League is not a political party being afraid of anything at all. Awami League is a capable party exactly to take step to bring the country always, or to make the country remain in a tranquil situation. So I think that it is not a problem for Awami League, or there is nothing going on in our country that Awami League might be afraid. That is my. And other thing is that I think that some honorable guests, speakers mentioned here that they like to see the intervention or to see the United Nations particularly observing the election, or other foreign observers coming to Bangladesh to observe the election. But thing is that there are so many elections being held disputed, and particularly I'd like to mention that at least 8 elections held in the United States of America, presidential election, and these elections are highly disputed. Did we make any comment? We did not make any comment at all. Why the United States of America and other European powers are taking concern about Bangladesh, I don't know. I think that the foreigners are not in a position to bring about any sort of peaceful solution to the problem of Bangladesh. The problem of Bangladesh should be decided, should be solved by the people of our country, by the political leaders of our country. It is very, very important. We should remember this. You know, foreigners cannot bring any solution. Yes, many foreign powers, particularly I'd like to mention the rule of the United States of America. They have gone to Iraq. What is the situation of the present Iraq? They have gone to Syria. What is the situation of Syria? They have gone to, you know, that Libya. what exactly is going on in Libya right now? All the countries are on the brink of destruction economically, socially, and politically. Political institutions of those countries have been destroyed by the intervention of the United States of America. Other thing is that what is happening in Israel, what is the real rule of the United States of America in Israel? The Israeli forces are heavily backed by the United States of America. France and Britain exactly created a legal state based on theocracy, particularly, which is not allowed to be created, particularly the modern concept, of the creation of modern state. But what had done by Britain and France, and that during the time when they were taking the initiative to create a state, Israeli state and Middle East, with an objective of creating a permanent disturbance, particularly in the Arab world, they appointed two diplomats, Picard from France and Syed from Britain. And the two diplomats of Britain and France, it was the only function exactly to make spying, particularly to create a certain kind of convenient position for the Israeli migrating people from different parts of Europe to create a state. So we know what is the rule of the United States of America. What America has done in Vietnam, we know everything. And now America has exactly passed a law that is Burma Act. What is their concern? Why should they are taking the concern of enacting Burma Act? Why? What is their purpose? Yes, I think that it is now the prime concern of the United States of America. Exactly, prime concern is Indo-Pacific project. What is the now in 2022? That America started taking in a pensive way the Indo-Pacific concern, but in 2023 this year.
Please ration your time. You ration your time. Yeah.
Yes. Can I speak anymore?
Yeah, sir? Only 1 minute. 1 minute. Go on.
1 minute. Okay. But now I'd like to say, what is the rule of the United States of America? I think that American Ambassador Peter Hatch is seemed to be a political leader. He is not doing anything. He has to remember the Vienna Convention. What Vienna Convention exactly says about the functions of the diplomats. Yeah? He is violating the Vienna Convention and taking exactly initiative to make intervention, particularly in the politics of Bangladesh. It is totally unfair. Thank you very much. If you give me another chance, then I'll exactly relate my experience. Okay.
Well,
thank you, sir.
We'll come to you. Professor Joglul Haidar Chaudhary, you are from Canada. You know so many things, and you are writing so many things. You are talking every day to different peoples, and I have met on many talk shows. Especially, my asking to you, do you find any silver lining of political dialogue between our League and PNP? What is your philosophical and realistic understanding?
Well, Dr. Syed, thank you so much again. And the learned panelists also. Thing is that actually before before going to your question, I want to just reply to some questions raised by Dr. Faraz Hussain and Dr. Khan from Australia. Thing is that Dr. Khan, he said that the opposition party should forget about the caretaker government. They should think about realistically. Thing is that I have no problem with in thinking realistically. We want a free, fair election, no matter who is hosting the election. If it is the ruling government, no problem. But thing is that could the ruling government prove itself as a neutral government? In the last two elections, they could not prove themselves they are neutral. They're totally one-sided. It was totally one-sided. Apart from this, if you look at the civil administration, totally politicized. Those people who are deployed at the field level, they're totally politicized. Mostly they're recruited from the stone wing of the ruling party. Then look at the police officers. These police officers, they're talking like a political activists. They're recruited from the political parties. And the opposition political parties, they do have strong reservation about these political parties. And that's the reason why opposition political parties cannot bring the government under confidence. That is the reason. It's a big challenge for the opposition to believe the government, because government frequently failed to restore free and fair elections, failed to restore peaceful atmosphere for election. Election doesn't mean that just the voting day election. Election means free and fair. For free and fair election, you need to have a free and fair atmosphere, neutral environment where everybody can participate, everybody can campaign, everybody can go to the voters, and voters can go to the leaders. This is how it's not happening. Whenever oppositions are engaged in meeting, they are saying that this is a conspiratorial meeting, there is a conspiracy against nation, and they are trying to destroy they are trying to uproot the government. So this is how they are trying to arrest whole lots of people. Almost, several hundred thousand people, mostly belonging to the major opposition, they are in the prison. The leader, the most popular leader of the opposition, Begum Khaleda Zia, she is imprisoned in a totally, baseless case. This kind of case, more rigorous, serious cases are against the leaders of the ruling political parties, about money laundering and all other stuff. But nothing is happening. Another thing is that the same case, we had same case against our ruling Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, was it too? But those case has been banished from the court, utilizing the political influences. So this is very clear. Thing is that now I'm coming to the question. Now I'm coming to Dr. Farhad Hussain issue. He talked about 1975. Of course, it's a very tragic end of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. It was a conspiracy, and we need the criminal should come to the trial. But at the same time, the same thing, 21st August happening is totally, we condemn it. We condemn it in the strongest word. But thing is that should we stay there? Law should take its own course. So we should not politicize every single thing. This is not a political issue to stay in power. Utilizing these two political issues, you cannot stay in power. Stay in power, you have to surrender to the people's will. People will decide who will rule the country, who will come to the power, who will go from the power. As a student of British Constitution, as a student of political science, as Dr. SINHA is, in a political system, in a democracy, government will come and government will go, but the system will remain unchanged. This is what the spirit of democracy. If you fail to comply with the spirit of democracy, then it's no longer democracy. It is an autocracy. Again, he told about the American intervention. What America is saying, America is not interfering militarily. America is not imposing something on you. America is giving you as a friendly advice to you, friendly suggestions to you. Why America is doing so? Because from the very beginning up to date, America is involved with the development of Bangladesh. That a lot of people, they say that America opposed our liberation war of Bangladesh. I'm so sure America did so. Why did America do so? Nobody answered this question. At that point, did America have any other compulsion? Nobody considered that at that point it was a Cold War situation. And Pakistan was America's ally. India was Russian ally. At that point, in a polarized world, what option America had? Definitely they did, in their own national interest, they sided with Pakistan and opposed the liberation war of Bangladesh. But just after the liberation war of Bangladesh, America extended its hands of cooperation towards Bangladesh. America did everything for the development. It offered donation. It was donation, $8 billion to Bangladesh from the beginning to the end. Right now, they're suggesting, since last 2-3 elections, actually 2008's election was also questionable. At that point, most of the opposition leaders were in the prison. They are not allowed to function properly. They are not allowed to ask for vote. That's the reason why they did so bad in the elections. So that was also a flawed election. After their 14 election, there was no voter at that election, 2014 election. 18 election was a midnight election. So government has eroded its total credibility. That is the reason why opposition cannot trust the government. But now the question is, what is the point? He asked me, what is, do you see any silver line? Of course, you know that if there is a caretaker government, if there is a neutral government, you know, this is a third-party settlement. In international law, even this is acceptable third-party settlement when bilateralism fails. You know, when bilateralism works. Bilateralism works when two parties are friendly, when two parties trust each other. Then bilateralism happens. When bilateralism doesn't happen, then we have to ask for multilateralism. But thing is that I'm not advocating for you know, third-party settlement or cartel government. I'm happy if government can organize a free, fair, and neutral election on its own capacity. But thing is that your election, what government is going to do, it must, of course, the foreigners, they don't have any role to play. But it must be, Bangladesh has its own right to organize its own election, but it must be consistent with international norms, rules, and regulations. We are very much part and parcel of international community. We are member of the United Nations. We are member of other regional and international organizations. So you cannot defy international norms, standard of, you know, free, fair, and neutral election. This government totally and, you know, conspicuously failed to hold last two elections. It was the elections at all. It was totally this kind of thing. It was, you know, this is total rigged, 100% rigged election. This is what I was reading a book on authoritarianism, you know, autocracy. This is the very characteristics of authoritarianism. Authoritarian government, they control the media, they do have a loyal followers, they control the police, and they do not rely on people's perception, people's willingness, people's wishes. That is how this government is working. But at the end of the day, I believe that in order to restore peace and, you know, peace and stability of the country, on the issue, on the issue of neutral caretaker government or any other settlement, both parties should sit together, because they are mature. I believe that these two parties are mature enough. Under the leadership of Awami League, Bangladesh achieved its independence. You know, Awami League was at the driver's seat. They should realize that how did it happen? They are saying now this caretaker government is in the constitution. Can I ask, with, you know, my polite question to them? In 71, did you fight against Pakistani authoritarian ruler constitutionally? Did you fight?
Dr. Joglul Chaudhary, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Raised a very wonderful question on, because you have concluded very, very fascinating manner that you believe in dialogue. Ultimately, there is no option other than dialogue. If dialogue takes place in a very cordial atmosphere, in a very convincing atmosphere, that is the issue. That is the only solution. Because even during the war needs to be settled through dialogue. And thank you very much, Mr. Kailash Chaudhary. Dr. Joglul Chaudhary, being a political scientist and geopolitical analyst, in a very animated way, discussed pros and cons. How can dialogue be settled? How can dialogue be started to end the ongoing process? Do you agree with him, Mr. Kailash?
Thank you very much. You give me the opportunity the second time. Actually, as a one word, I want to say that both of party, any solution, sitting the solution, any political solution, it's in a one single word. I want to say it's a still now it is only dream, nothing. So because we have nothing to say any symptom, the political solution, both of party or our national consensus. We cannot see any steps from government side. But end of the day, I think doing any happening, we are hopeful. We make the solution, but it is done by any any middleman or middle organization like United States or UN, like European Union. Maybe they are doing some work for the negotiation in our free, fair, credible next election. But I seriously, I say, if we are failed the give the any election, our next election free, fair, and credible, it is very sad and very very upset for the nation. So I think government is doing the many things for the blame game or manipulate the own sources on the media syndicate, on the any kinds of propaganda. They try to show up their strength. But it is true, Mr. Joglul Haidar said truly, they already used their last, the trump card. Which is the trump card? The trump card is the administration and the law enforcement agencies. Law enforcement agencies, now they are showing like political activists, like say that their language, their voice, their speech. This is very unprofessional and unconstitutional. They cannot speak like that. Why we need to caretaker or interim government for electoral time? Because everybody knows. I think everybody we are agreed. Because right now, our current government, our last 15 years, they collapse everything, every democratic institution with our judicial department and our administration, our law enforcement. Every sector now in dark, now in the collapse in our economy. I remember is our right now, as per IMF accounting, our reserve is right now 20 billion. So within 3 months, we must to pay our 12 billion for the loan purpose. So our balance is only 8 billion. So that's why, I try to say our economy also is collapsed. Corruption is everybody, top to bottom, is the corruption in Bangladesh right now. So my friend, senior friend, Mr. Farad says, his party is not worried, scared, not afraid. No, it is absolutely wrong. I am sure I see that their body language, government leaders, some leaders, not all leaders, because some leaders you just see that their eyes, their body language say that they are scared. They are worried because of they try to manage everything. They try to manage the European Union. They try to manage United Nations. They try to manage USA. Everybody, but they are failed. And then they go to our neighbor country in India. I think they are also there is not taken any green signal from the India. So yes, it is true. Right now we are not looking for our others country our friend country, nothing. We have prepared our people demands. Right now, our people demands is the free, fair, and credible election, our next election. They want to, their voting rights. That's it. No more other options or no other choice. Most of the people, most of the young people, they want to vote our next election. So government no options. I think that's why they are worried. They are afraid. That's why they are stick their position. If they are not afraid, if they are actually, they are not corrupted, they are not authoritarian, they are not Bakshal like Bakshal, they must go to the, or rely, or believe, or trust the people, trust to the people. But they are worried, that's why they don't trust the people, they don't trust the vote. Free, fair, and credible. Today is the last day, a few hours ago in Bangladesh time. Our UK High Commissioner, Mrs. Sarah Cook, meet to the courtesy visit to the our Chief Election Commission. Is they clearly given the message, not only free, fair. They mention we want, they already especially mentioned we want inclusive election. So slowly they, because government take the advantage, this is only for this word. Government anything, see, they try to taken the advantage. But unfortunately, they want take the advantage, but it is go through the reverse. It is a very bad luck for the government.
Well,
so
Mr.
just one. Can I 1 minute?
Go on.
Okay. So I actually I thinking as a one of the young entrepreneur in Bangladesh, and I want in the amicable any settlement, any solution. It is very, very important and very urgent. As soon as possible, we need to done the or we find the or sort out our solution points, the focal point. How can our next election we can given our voting rights, and we can take over our rights for voting system.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paula Chaudhary. You spoke very well, but you did not touch the issue which I raised to you about the dialogue between the two countries. Well, Mr. Dr. Ami, you listen to what the other speakers made it clear. So, do you believe that there is no last word in politics? And if it is so, then why do put full stop here?
Yeah.
Why not we proceed? Well, what's your response?
Sorry, come again, sir. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sinha Said, sir, for giving me another opportunity to present myself in front of all these honorable fellow speakers. At very first, I just want to clarify and correct one thing. Our dear Palash Chaudhary said I was against interference. Oh, I just want to clarify that interference is very much needed. When we call the word interfere, I do not agree. This is not interfere, because Bangladesh is a part of the whole marketplace. The world is a marketplace, and we are doing business among the worlds. We're doing business with USA, UK, European countries, and India. They do definitely have interest what is happening in our country, what is the environment, and what is the future of Bangladesh in next 5 to 10 years. So that they do have the right to come and do interfere, as we say, if it's not in a negative way, but a positive way, that if we have problems in our house, our neighbor would come and try to solve it. So that way it doesn't go further, higher, or worse case. This is one of them. And Dr. Joglul Haidar sir mentioned one keyword, which is matured. Are we really matured? If we talk about our biggest political parties, Bangladesh Awami League and Bangladesh Nationalist Party, Bangladesh BNP, are we matured? I do not think so. Maturity means empathy for others. Maturity means respect for others. Maturity means love for others. And I do not see anything on any of them, on the majority of them. Majority of you guys, whoever's doing Awami League or BNP, majority of us are not showing humanity. That means if I am Awami League, BNP isn't human. And I think we should grow up before we can actually talk about democracy. All of us should grow up first and think that the person we are competing, they're not the enemy of the country. They are a citizen of the country as well, regardless that's BNP or Awami League or Japa or Jamaat-e-Islam, as long as they are not against the country. As long as they are not against the country. Whatever party they are doing, regardless what we say by the book, in the talk show, we are very nice. We are like, wow, there's no other good human being rather than us. So if someone is doing, for suppose, the party that I am not following, that person is still a human. That person still has the right to say and do such things as a citizen of the country. Since I understood, since 1971, we thought the Pakistani army is going, so we're going to be free. And we still haven't figured out what is maturity. We still haven't figured out independent election system. We still haven't figured out how to respect others when the actual government actually falls down and the next party comes to the power. We should actually be transparent and do the justice, not enforce something that all we understand that we are not being really justified on our actions when we are in power. There is recording. Now it's social media and YouTube and everything. There is recording. So while one is in power, our talking style is one. And the next day we are not in power. We're saying exactly the opposite thing. So I think there is a deep thought should be given that are we really matured, or are we just greedy people who wants power? But do we not watch ex-MPs dying this year, last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? Ex-ministers are dying. So with greediness of current power. So I think that's something that's actually slowly decreasing in the country. It was 20 years ago, there was a different scenario that could be, still could talk. Nowadays, it's going worse and worse. And there's another thing. I want to quote one sentence from a current MP. I think he's from Sundarganj, MP from Jatiyo Party currently, Barrister Shamim Haidar Patwari. He mentioned one thing, that Bangladesh Awami League can live without oxygen one day, but cannot live without the power one day. I want to quote his sentence. Why would he say that? Are we in a position that we are that scared? Did BNP give that kind of vibe that if you're not in power, you are dead? Why are we giving that vibe to the government? Have we cleared it up that regardless we come to the government, we're not going to do any injustice whoever's in power? Or have we crossed the line that we are very scared to step off the government, that we're not going to leave the next day, we're take up the step? So that kind of scenario shouldn't come in a human society. That scenario is very scary. There is no trust between the biggest parties, which is in government, and the second biggest party, which is in opposition. There is no trust. So silver lining of the dialogue isn't possible, from my opinion. In that scenario, if we keep asking the resignation,
Thank you very much, Dr. Ami. Rita Rahman, you are in the line? Sure.
I am here, but problem is my camera is still not working.
No problem. We just hear you. That is okay.
Yes, thank
you
you.
Listen to everybody. They were talking about the neutral government at the same time, whether there is any possibility of initiating dialogue between the two major political parties. This dialogue may take place through mediation of America, European Union, or even all the powers together. And do you believe there is any possibility of making the drama end without dialogue?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry about the earlier time when I was given the opportunity to speak for the first time. But let me start back again. And let me start with a quotation. Let me see. This quotation was made by Nadia Rahman, Interim Deputy Regional Director of Research for South Asia at Amnesty International. She said, this is a new statement they were making. She said, arresting a mother immediately after her son's social media post criticizing the government is ludicrous and a new law in Bangladesh, where endless reports of arbitrary detention of opposition politicians and activists in the lead up to next year's general election has created a climate of fear and distrust. So this is very self-explanatory. It gives a picture of what is going on in Bangladesh and why the Western world or the world outside Bangladesh are concerned about what is going on. So, you know, most of the renowned human rights organizations are talking about the human rights violation and the political and the how should I put it, and the atrocities and persecution done against the political activists, opposition political activists in Bangladesh is a big concern now. So we were, since the discussion was taking to a different action, there are like, anyone could detect that there is a divide. There is a big divide in the political field or political exposition. So there is a divide, and this divide, I think, was created in Bangladesh immediately after the independence intentionally to make the nation weaker. We are not talking about the national interest anymore. What we are talking about is our political prejudices or political thoughts, and we want to bring it to a partisan state, which is, I fear, and I'm very anxious, that which is very damaging. We are not thinking about our national interests. What is going on in Bangladesh now? This party, Awami League, has been in power. And what happened before they came to power in 2008, we have to recall that. It is very important to understand that scenario. The election took place, and commonly people knows, although this is not actually recognized, that the caretaker government, the interim government that came in 2006 was actually outcome of some global initiatives also. So we were not concerned very much when the 2006 government came up. After what happened, we know, after the political atrocities that took place in the streets. So the government took 2 years and then gave election, and what happened, we know. Even the election, there are questions regarding the election, the way it was taken. It was like, it was held. So that scenario was also the similar scenario of what is going on today. And also the scenario, if we like to recall, of the scenario of 1971. You know, the global, it is actually, the whole world is connected. No country, no land is an island. You know, when something happens in Palestine, we protest. When something happened in Iraq, some supported, some protested. What happened in Pakistan recently, people protested, people supported. But this is a world, unilateral world. It is like everything connected, every country is connected to each other. So America and the West, when they're coming, they're coming for some of our rights, because since 1920, when the new regime took over in United States of America, their policy has also changed. Before that, we knew that since we are talking about regional geopolitical situations, so let me come back to stick to this point, that the USA had a different policy before Joe Biden took over power. So we all are aware that during that time, India was given a kind of custodian to the South Asian region. And India was like taking all the decisions for us. And we never put, some of us, of course, the opposition protested, but not exactly the participation of India. India had been a big say, had always been having a big say over Bangladesh's politics. We know what happened in some of our colleagues speakers already spoke about what happened during the 2014 election. You know, Indian foreign minister came to Bangladesh, met one of the candidates, the leader of Jatiya Party, President Ershad, HM Ershad, and requested him to take part in the election. So that our friends don't consider interference. Why did they interfere? And now American ambassador, one of our colleagues said that he's acting like a politician. Actually, all of us are politicians. When we academicians are talking, we are also talking like a politician. Our judges are talking and they're saying that we are a politician by taking oath. I mean, one of our colleagues just quoted, Mr. Amin Khan quoted, thank you. And, you know, the situation is very, very clear now. I mean, everybody knows there's this divide, the government party and the opposition and the people. And we know the people are supporting opposition. We don't have to prove it anymore, because if we recall the last, the big meeting that BNP held in Dhaka, it was everybody except...
Would you kindly shorten your speech, please?
Yeah, how much time do I have, Sinha?
2 minutes.
Mr.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Okay. So, okay, to cut my speeches short, I'd like to talk about two constitutional provision. I think the crust of the problem is election. The coming election, we need to have a free, fair, and credible and participatory elections. So for that, the government parties and the Western world and everybody is putting pressure on the government to hold a free, fair, and credible election, because the election system and the last two elections has proven that there is a partisan influence and there is no fair election. People cannot vote, and even the voters are the witness that they could not vote freely and fairly. They were like stopped. So the provision, if you talk about the caretaker government, which is the opposition, most of the other opposition apart from Awami League and their alliances are demanding, I think it is very much in the constitution. No one need to do anything, because in the 16th Amendment of the Constitution, given in 2017 by Chief Justice SINHA from the Appellate Division majority decision, it is clearly said that the subsequent two elections can be held under the caretaker government. It is already, and they also put the note below saying that it is not it is not a suggestion, but a directive, a court order. So the court order and the amendment is already there. We have to take that into cognizance. I don't know why our academicians are not talking about it. And the 15th Amendment is a big question mark, because the way it was done, it was not done legally. So we can, as a result, people are calling this government illegal government. So that is, I just wanted to clear because I don't have time. And interference, some people are saying interference this is absolutely not right. This should not be a term. And Geneva Convention has nothing to do with what is going on with American policy. I just want to put this into a point. And what we are talking about is civility. We have to go beyond this in order to.
Okay, Roman, thank you very much.
Mr. Please let me finish the sentence. Just this sentence. That is, the civility is something else. Actually, we cannot blame each other, and we cannot stand on the political divide. We have to get above the political divide and look from a national interest. And should not those of us who are belonging to the government party should not only try to defend the party, going beyond all norms, because some issues were raised by Mr. Farhad Hussain, my respected friend. He said that.
No reference, please speak your own. No reference at this moment because we.
No. I want to make a point, Mr.
Because we have no time. Because already we have crossed.
I know, sorry, but I could not speak for the first time in the first round.
That is your fault. You couldn't speak your fault. This is not the fault of the talk show. Because to some extent you are facing technical problems.
If you don't want me to
speak, thank you very much. We will meet you again very soon. Okay, thank you. Mr. Joglul Haidar. Just 1 minute for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Actually, I raised my finger just to answer Dr. Amin Khan's issue, because Dr. Amin has given a very good lecture. It's a philosophical lecture on what you call maturity. Actually, maturity, by maturity I meant what you call both parties. Awami League, Bangladesh got independence under the leadership of Awami League. Without political maturity, it was impossible. And after that, they several times.
Yeah, 1 minute, only 1 minute.
Alternated the power. The BNP is the same. 50 years of age, BNP has got 47, 48 years of age, BNP has got, and they have formed the government and they acted as opposition several times. This is how they are matured. If you talk matured in terms of philosophically, in terms of human rights and everything, that's a different discussion. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Farhad Hussain, you are the last person because you belong to Awami League. Whatever the logics, arguments and counter-arguments raised here, all level against you. And what is the response?
Now, I'd like to.
1 minute.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, SINHA, sir, that you have given me time. Once again, I'd like to tell one thing. I'd like to mention the comment of Rita Appa. And she has made the comment that about Bangladesh, India is taking all the decision. I do not agree. I do not agree with her. And to this point, what she exactly mentioned. Thing is that Bangladesh is an independent sovereign country. So India is not in a position to take all the decisions about Bangladesh. And if we say so, it is totally against the spirit of the independence or against the spirit of a country which achieved independence by fighting, by sacrificing blood in 1971. You know that India is taking concern.
Thank you, Mr. Farhad Hussain. Thank you very much, because
India is taking concern. You know, Sinabai, I have learned many things from you about India and Bangladesh politics. And from your telling to me, from your knowledge that you have imparted to me, I'd like to relate one thing, that India is facing 2022 or 2,400 kilometer borders adjacent to India. So India is taking a very great concern, you know. And by this time, you know, in Northeast, there is a tumor situation that has been created, particularly in Manipur, you know, and India is taking always a concern. You know that India is not a country. India is a union. India is a union territory. So India has got a problem. And India has a serious concern exactly to see the tranquil border of Northeast, which is very important, particularly for Indian security. You know that India has a long-standing border with China. And you know that in 1962 Sino-Indian War, India had to face a nightmare experience.
Long journey. This piece is a long journey. Let us end here.
And I would like to tell you one thing. I would like to make it clarify exactly to make the answer of the comments made by Rita Appa. You know that India had faced a nightmare experience in 1962 Sino-Indian War, and that is why from China, India has got a certain kind of problem. And in Bangladesh,
Mr. Farhad Hussain, yes, thank you very much. And Mr. Palash Chaudhary, for you only for 1 minute. Please don't cross the limit.
Yes, thank you very much.
I would like to end. Give me 30 seconds.
Well,
yes, Jaglul sir has mentioned the policy of the United Nations, that Bangladesh is not following the principles of the United Nations. Why the United Nations is not taking step exactly to take the Rohingya refugees back to their motherland from Bangladesh? It is my question. What is the function of the United Nations organization? We want another head office in Asia, another head office of the United Nations in Asia. Thank you very much. Good night.
Dr. Sira, would you allow me to answer?
Need not to answer because you know very well what the answer is.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Sinha. Especially thank you just for the show, for the invitation. And my last word, we just now we discussing many things. I want to forget everything. We need to find out how can survive our present situation. It's our only dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Amin Khan, Mr. Jaglul Chaudhary raised the question of maturity. And because you did your PhD on morality, so every time you think everything from the point of morality, so maturity is a concern of morality. But in politics, it is something different. And please spell out within a minute, please.
Yep. Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha, sir, for giving me to conclude. Just want to tell you a recent history of Bangladesh in 1 minute, because I think a couple of weeks ago we saw some HSC students doing strike. They want to go exam for 50 marks instead of 100 marks, giving example of some other students from last year and previous year. So that is fine. So maturity is, instead of striking 7 days before the exam, go back home and start studying as much possible. So in the same way, our election isn't very far. My, I wouldn't say advice, I would just say my opinion to the biggest parties in Bangladesh. So prepare for the election instead of trying to change the whole format, which probably not be going to be possible for this time. This is a very far ahead I'm thinking, and I'm saying from my opinion. All I can see, if you want to hit the wall by your head, you need to know if the head is harder, stronger, or the wall is stronger. So I'm not going to hit my head to the wall if the wall is too stronger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, viewers, we are about to end this talk show. And before that, I would like to summarize what the guest speakers speak here. First of all, they all are the same mind that Bangladesh is now at a stage of a critical juncture, and we need to overcome the crisis. And crisis means we have to cross the border, we have to cross the situation. And all this is taken together. We believe the foreign powers now working in Bangladesh, especially American initiative, and America Bangla initiative, we believe that very soon we will have a very positive conclusion, and that conclusion will go in favor of the country, in favor of the people, not in favor of any political party in power or outside the power. And we believe master of the country is Article 7, the people. And let us raise our heads and hands in favor victory of the people this time, and again and again. And thank you very much, and we'll meet you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.